Cougar fans, welcome back to another interview. Today we are joined with Mafi. All right, give me Mafi Mahu'inga.
Yeah.
Let's go. See, I know a little bit. It just takes me a second. So Mafi, tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about where you're from.
So I'm originally from the Bay Area in California, actually. So it's called San Lorenzo, so it's like 15 minutes away from Oakland.
Okay.
And then I also lived in South San Francisco for a few years. And then I moved out to Utah. So when I first came here, I moved to Springville. I want to say for 2 years in junior high.
Okay.
And then I actually went to high school at Harriman. So that's kind of like where I grew up all around, is just California and Utah, half and half. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. What about your family, like siblings and?
Oh yeah, so I have only one brother.
Okay.
He's 2 years older, and he actually just got married last week. So we went to his wedding last week, so that was pretty fun.
Awesome. Does he play rugby as well?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
So we play together when we can, if we're both on the field, of course. But and then just my mom and my dad, so just us four.
Gotcha. And so you play rugby at BYU here.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you kind of get into rugby, and what age did you roughly get into that?
I always wanted to play when I was, I want to say in like 6th grade, when we first moved here, because like there was a club over here down in Springville. I forgot what it was called, but like at the time there was like a lot of the poly kids were going in and they're like, oh, they just made this rugby club, we want to go play for it. So I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go do that too. But my dad at the time, he's like, no, heck no, you're not going to do that, man. He wanted us to stick with football at the time, so he didn't really think it was a good idea. So we kind of went on that for a couple years, and then like the next year we moved up to Harriman, and then that's when my brother started playing at the high school team over there, and that's kind of like how we got into it. Is just when we moved up to Harriman, my dad was finally able to be like, oh, fine, I think it's time that you guys do this, because my dad's from Tonga.
Okay.
So he grew up playing rugby a little bit over there, so we just wanted to see like what the difference was between like football and rugby, and like, you know, how fun it would be. So
what made you choose rugby over football, or like over what other sports did you play in high school?
So I played football for a couple years of high school, but I actually stopped after my sophomore year.
Okay.
And then I also wrestled throughout high school too.
I did a quick Google search of you because I didn't know a little bit. I saw you wrestled. Was that a pretty big part of your high school career?
Yeah, it was. It was like initially it just started off to help me with like rugby and football, but then after that it kind of just became something where like I really enjoyed doing it and like competing, like because you know rugby and football, they're like all team sports. So, like I like the individual aspect. It kind of made me feel like, you know, like I don't even know, like a gladiator or something, where you're just like going one-on-one and everyone's like gathered around watching you. So that's kind of like what got me excited, is like competing in front of like all the people and like the lights are dimmed down and stuff. So I really enjoyed like that like experience, rather than just, you know, huge bleachers filled with like fans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, I've personally never been in like a solo sport, so I can't imagine. But that's gotta be such a cool feeling. It's like, I mean, you're in there, there's one other person, there's people all around watching. Like no one else to count on but yourself. So, you know, choosing rugby over those other two, what like how come you love rugby so much? Why is that your sport of like, you're playing college sports now, playing college rugby, so what makes you love it so much?
I want to say it's just because like it gave me the like sort of a freedom that I didn't feel like I was having in football. Because, you know, in football, you, like, of course, you as a player, like, decide what you're going to do on the field. But, like, you have certain, like, plays and stuff that you run, or, like, what your coaches kind of, like, tell you where to go in a sense, like, at certain times.
Absolutely, that's how it is,
you know, in rugby, like, at the time when I first started, I just thought it was awesome because I could kind of run around and, like, make my own decisions, like, on the spot. And, like, you know, even most of the game plan, we have, like, a few plays, but it's not, like, exactly mapped out like, oh, this is what we're going to do like each second of the game. It's just like, it's kind of a game plan, and then whatever happens during the game is what happens. So I really like that. I was always a lineman growing up, so when I thought that I could like run the ball and like do more than just block people in football, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to try rugby and see like if I could like run people over and, you know, have fun doing that. So
and then you did, and you're like, oh,
so, I'm going to keep doing this. So that's how it initially started. And then after that, I guess like my junior year when I stopped playing is just because I didn't really enjoy it as much as I was enjoying rugby. So I kind of just made that decision, like I'm going to focus on what feel like I was excelling more at the time, because I don't know, I just wasn't like excelling as much at football as I thought like I should have.
Yeah. So
I just chose the rugby and wrestling thing at the time, and then after that I just cut ties with like wrestling when I came to college. So
awesome. We could for sure talk about this a lot longer, but our time's up for that first segment. So winding down a little bit, in our next segment we're going to go into recruiting and how that works, and because I'm not familiar with it, so I'm intrigued learning about this. It's really exciting. So Cougar fans, be sure to stick around for part 2 of our interview with Mafi, as well as our part 3 and part 4, because we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, just getting started, getting to know you. But thanks for watching part 1, and be sure to stick around. Thank you for watching this interview. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss the other 2 parts of this interview, plus all of our other interviews we do with BYU athletes. We also like to give a special thanks to our Cougar Board insiders for making this possible.